As most of you know, it's somewhat easy to enter into various forms of slumps and funks and just kind of being off schedule. And a lot of that's healthy. It's very important to chill and relax. But we all know that schedule is not just about being productive. It's also just about being happy and intentional with your time. And it's very common that we feel better when we are being the best versions of ourselves and being effective and intentional about the way we're spending our days. So I found a couple things helpful when helping learn to keep yourself motivated. There's first off a saying that motivation is a constantly moving target. So if you ever wonder why sometimes you feel good and sometimes you don't, I don't even know if it's worthwhile to wonder, because I don't really know if there's necessarily an answer. I guess the answer is just you're human. So welcome to the constantly moving target of motivation and self-motivation. If you want to learn how to motivate others, you need to first learn how to motivate yourself. So first, you need to understand where a lack of motivation might come from. This is very important. Understanding the psychology of people is understanding leadership. It's understanding sales and recruiting and relationships. Psychology is everything, since people are part of everything. So to my understanding, and I'm always open to somebody proving me wrong, but to this day, I believe that there's two main factors that go into somebody's motivation. It is, are they clear on their vision, and are they connected to their vision? And then do they believe that they can actually accomplish the vision? So you need clarity of vision and confidence in your abilities. If either or both of those are missing, you will not have motivation. Why? Because if you don't know why you're doing something, why you're working, you're not going to want to do it. And if you don't believe the outcome is going to be favorable, if you don't believe you can actually accomplish your goal, what's the point in even trying? Most of the time, if you're feeling a lack of motivation, it could be a combination of the two. Maybe the task is really challenging. Now you don't know if the value is worth the challenge because you're not really connected to your why. So you're constantly fluctuating back between those two things, but it always boils down to those two things. So first off, understand you need to be clear on your vision, be connected to it, and then have a clear game plan, not only to get to the goal, but to make yourself the right person to achieve the goal. Remember, be, do, have. You need to become a goal is not about achieving the goal. It's about becoming the person it takes to achieve the goal. So a game plan of self-development will help with your confidence and help you stay motivated on your path towards your goal. That being said, asking for help is a very, very powerful tool. So the late great Spencer Hayes said, anytime people would ask him for just success advice, he boiled it down really simply. He said, set big goals, use positive self-talk, and hold yourself accountable. Well, in reality, what we're talking about falls into those things. Setting big goals and having a big vision can be very exciting. And then using positive self-talk to keep yourself confident is helpful towards working towards that. And then last but not least, as Dave Brown put it, we can't do this alone. It's very challenging when we're on this journey alone. That's why human beings are pack creatures. So lean on each other, rely on each other. So I'm going to give you guys a couple simple tools to help stay motivated. The first tool is an ongoing exercise of discovering your why. So what you need to do, this is a good action item. So every time we have an action item, open up your calendar and go ahead and put it straight in. Make some time to do it. So you'll start off by journaling about it, and then you'll just constantly be thinking about it theoretically for the rest of your life. But what you need to do is sit down with yourself, and hopefully at this point, you've covered big picture, what you want, potentially at least what your life to look like. Well, now we're zooming in to how does what I'm doing right now help me get there? Because you may have a clear or somewhat clear idea of the big picture, but if you don't understand these small action steps, you're not going to be motivated to do it. So to keep it simple, you can do this for anything. You can do it for school, for work. So what you need to do is sit down and think of two separate lists. First list, what are the selfish things I can gain from this? And I don't mean that in a bad way. Selfish intentions drive us in our human nature. By human nature, we're constantly looking out for ourselves. That's okay. We need to be okay with that and find those selfish tendencies and lean into them. Now, why do I think that's important? Because ultimately, if you're motivated to do a good action through selfish reasons, you're at least still going to impact some people in the process. I was very motivated by money for a very long time. So selfish intentions are okay. Now, eventually you want to let them go, but for now, meet yourself where you're at. So to give you a good example is making money, improving your network, learning better communication and sales skills, understanding human psychology more, being a better master of your emotions, more self-discipline and patience. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Once again, ask people for help if you're having trouble thinking through what you can gain selfishly. Also think through a list of selflessly. What are the things that you will selflessly gain? Meaning you'll make an impact and leave a legacy with people. So come up with those lists. And then for each bullet point, you need to have two legs of it. One leg is your away motivated goal, and then one leg is your towards motivated. What I mean by that is we're constantly motivated away from certain things and towards other things. So it's kind of like a fear and excitement pull. Why do you want both of those? Because once again, motivation's a moving target. So the key to this exercise is really quantity. It's quantity and quality. You want to go as deep into each of those points and have as many points as possible, because sometimes money will motivate you, sometimes it won't, sometimes impact will motivate you, sometimes it won't, sometimes developing a skill set or better emotional intelligence will motivate you, sometimes it won't. So the more points you have on the selfish and selfless side, and the more sub points you have of away and towards motivated for each one, the better. So what I would recommend is create both your lists and then go into each point, do it on a Word doc and just start putting bullet points underneath those about your towards motivation and away motivation. And once again, when you feel like you're stuck at a roadblock, ask somebody else who's experienced what they've gained from the process, and they will help you develop your why. The second side of that is, of course, being connected to your why. So hopefully you've done your vision board at this point, so you know big picture what you want. Well, now you've made some neural connections about how these actions, how recruiting, or once again, another example is how going to class or school or how doing X, Y, or Z is going to help you get to that big picture vision board. So every morning, make sure to take some time. And I'm serious, every morning. If you don't do it, you're just going to lose motivation, have less passion for life. It's not going to be the end of the world. You just won't be as excited to wake up every morning. So it's a very good habit to get into, to sip some coffee or tea and look at that vision board. And for each bullet point, I'm looking over here because my vision board's up on my wall right here. For each point, ask yourself, how's what I'm doing today going to help me get there? How's that going to help me grow into this life vision? Selfish and selflessly. So hopefully that helps. That's step one, is you're coming up with your why, your big picture vision, and attaching your why to it. Step two is accountability and having a game plan of how to get there. Your why and clarity of your vision. And do you believe that you're doing the things and becoming the person that it takes to actually accomplish that why? If either of those are missing, you might miss out on some motivation. So do the best you can to become the best version of yourself. Once again, set big goals, use positive self-talk, and ask for some help with accountability, because we need each other. We can't do this thing together. There's no such thing as a self-made man or woman. We're always helping and thriving off of each other.